But
Yeah, yeah, and I totally understand what you're saying. The $200,000 is if you take the 350 budgeted firefighters and break down that they get $500 per firefighter. I believe that's where that number derives from, close to that.
so I guess I'm fine with them, even though there's a lot of them. But
So, and like I was saying, as far as the $50,000 one with the Motorola Counselor Rudd, on duty we have 69 radios, 4 at the airport right now, but then we have almost close to 200 handheld radios. All of our fire trucks, they have computers on them that they get communications from the 911 center. All of our fire stations, they have these alerting systems. They're complicated systems. And the way this, I don't know if I explained it thoroughly enough earlier, but if we had to, every time that one of those items broke, if we went to the state contract and actually, or the county contract and actually had to pay for one of the radios to get fixed, there was a minimum amount that we had to spend. So we would never, the amount that we needed to get the repair was less than what it would cost to go through the contract. So if we went the other way, if we just didn't do this waiver and we ended up going through the contract, that 50,000 would be almost triple because of the amount of equipment that we have. I would say that of all the different communications equipment that we have that is prone to fail throughout the year. But I'm more than happy to sit down and talk more about it, of get more numbers and facts, so you can we can have the data to show you if a certain amount of percentage of our radios broke down, what that would cost of going through the contract. We beat this up pretty good last year, me and Diane Nastry with our communications chief, because it's easier just going through the contract to actually get the service done, because it's on paper. I don't have to come to the meeting and ask for permission, but in the name of saving the taxpayers money, this is really the main reason that we come to you. It's the best way to actually do business for this particular service. But I'm more than happy to sit down and talk, or if I can get more information, if you want to send me the different questions that you have, and I'll follow back up with you to get specific data.
I think, Chief, I think we share the same goal here. Our goal here is to do our best to make sure that our taxpayers are
Yep.
that they save money. So,
And I guess,
the way that we can do it, that
and
is
I
that
guess I guess what's hard to relay too is we have a chief that's in charge of our communications, and we have one sworn firefighter that's in charge of our computers. He works with the city IT, but as things break down in real time, when you don't have these types of processes in place to keep the fire department running, then there just leaves an opportunity for us to fail in areas that um, wouldn't be pretty, from the outside looking in. So there are things in place to make sure that we can keep running. We have a lot of different things going on, and not being able to get a service that we need to keep the fire trucks running, or if our radios go down, or if alerting system inside the firehouse breaks down. Some of these things were put into place just to be able to keep operations running smoothly as possible, and in the name of saving money with some of these things also. I think this is the cheapest way to do business. I know Evan went through and he vetted all these things, but since I've been the chief, Diane Nastry and I have gone through this process multiple times, figuring out if there were different ways or more efficient ways to do business. And I've been holding our team accountable to make sure that this is the best way. And every time that we went through the processes and got all the information and figured out dollar amounts, the items that I have in front of you are the best way to do business in order for us to operate and to save the taxpayers money and to get more bang for the buck for every tax dollar. So I've really tried to do the best I can, and I'm more than happy to sit down and go over this with you. Diane Nastry's not on the call, but her and I have been working on this. We have a lot of time into this to make sure this is the best way to do business. But I'm more than happy to answer any questions or follow back up with any information. I know there's a lot of items on here, but we have a lot of things going on in the fire department that need to have attention when something breaks or for the services that are needed.
Rod, are you all set?
Through the other items,
Yes. Let's go to the 8th item.
Okay, the next item is for our medical director. So Dr. Markham, he provides medical direction and consultation to the chief of fire and our EMS division, and he is an active participant in the fire department's continuous quality improvement program. He represents the fire department's medical interests with the medical community, and he performs other related emergency medical tasks required to keep our, basically, in order for us to provide the service, any emergency medical services on all of our medical calls, car accidents, anytime that we treat a patient in the streets or out in the road or in the neighborhoods, we are working under Dr. Markham's certification. And so we have this agreement with Dr. Markham for his service, and it's worth $7,500 per year. And without his authority, we wouldn't be able to provide the service. We have to have it underneath a medical director. So when when all the COVID situations came across all of our lives in February, we consult with him to make sure that all of our programs are up to standards. They meet the New York State Department of Health standards. They meet all the medical updates on, the different types of procedures that we need to perform on the different citizens when they're in medical distress. So this particular waiver is for the medical director. Does anybody have any questions on this item?
So how does that $7,500 breaking up? Is it by an incident, or is it just a bulk?
No, that's what it costs for per year to have his service per year, and we call on him whenever we need anything. He comes and sits down and meets with us on different types of protocols that come out from the state. He makes sure that he makes sure that the programs that we're running, if our programs aren't ran a certain way, then we would lose our certification, and then we wouldn't be able to provide services when people are having difficulty breathing, or if somebody's having a cardiac arrest or a respiratory arrest, or certainly if there's any traumas, anybody falls from any heights, any car accidents, we can't provide the medical services without working underneath a certified doctor's certificate, his authorization. So $7,500 is the cost of him providing that service for the year.
Rod? Councilor Rod? You all set?
that's fine with me.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
That should be it, Chief.
Okay.
So, the chaplain item?
Yep, the next one is for the fire department chaplain. Our chaplain has been with the fire department close to 30 years. And we have a contract with him for $6,000 for this fiscal year upcoming, if you approve it. And he not only provides chaplain services, but he also sits on our critical stress debriefing team. If we go on any type of call where there's an infant that dies, or there's a really traumatic injury, we have a group of firefighters that go and counsel our firefighters and make sure that, they can relieve any stress that they have from the call. And he's a part of that team, and he is He's been an integral part of our department for the last 30 years, and he provides the chaplain services for the fire department. He's the only chaplain that we have.
How much it costs us?
$6,000 per year.
Okay. Councilor Rod, are you all set? All right, Chief.
Okay, the next two items are for our plan review services. I know Councilor Rudd has been involved since I've been the chief, and Councilor Majuk, just so you know, we reorganized our whole fire prevention bureau, so we're able to process plan review permits when somebody has a building permit. We ended up hiring a few plan reviewers. We had some fire protection engineers in the past who worked with us to review plans. They left. So we have a new program, a new bureau, a new process to get our plan reviews reviewed and back out to the customer. And this third-party services was put in place originally because one of our plan reviewers resigned, and at that time we didn't have any plan reviewers. So this was through CNS and UFPE. And I think through the process, we all agreed that having a backup plan if we get swamped with an abundant amount of building permits, that if we had a third-party reviewer, we could submit some of these plan review plans to these third-party reviewers, and they could help us maintain our workload if we ever get swamped, or if for whatever reason one of our plan reviewers on staff retires, resigns, gets another job somewhere else. So it's kind of like an ace in the hole to make sure we can keep doing business as normal. So the first legislative item is for CNS and UFPE, and that is for a total amount of up to $50,000 per year to use either or of those companies. And then the other legislative item was for Sean Morrison. He's more embedded into our daily program. He comes in and works 30 to 35 hours a week, and he gets paid over $30,000 a year for his services. I'll get that exact amount.
So is Sean, if I'm understanding it correctly, is he an employee or is he contractual?
He's a contractor. He's a contractor. He's right in the same mindset of the CNS and UFPE. So he does the same type of work. When we were down fire protection engineers or plan reviewers, it took us a while to get him into the mix and get all his contract together. But once he came into the fold, it substantially helped us to keep our plan reviewers their workloads at a point where we can get our plans reviewed and back out to the customer. When I first became the chief in 2018, our fire department, fire prevention bureau, the items that we were review, we were almost 300 plans behind. Currently, right now, with these new systems and new processes in place, we are currently up to date on all of our plan reviews. So all of these things that we put in place have enabled us to keep up with the pace of the economic development in the city. So when we started, I believe the number was 285 permits. That's how many we were backlogged when I first became the chief. And to this day, there's a couple they're working on, but there's not a backlog at all with our permits, which I think is a testament to the people that are working over at our fire prevention, but it's also a testament to these processes that we have in place to keep the workflow moving forward. So those are the last two items. Does anybody have any questions on those?
Yes. Is there, just maybe you have already said it and I didn't catch it. Is there a reason why we use two companies for the same thing?
Yes, because a lot of these companies do business on their own in the city. So it would be a conflict of interest if, say, CNS Corporation, they had to get some plans reviewed. We wouldn't want them to review that plan if if we had to give it to them. So we have UFPE to actually review that particular plan, and it gives us more opportunities to make sure the work is done. If CNS for some reason doesn't have the time at a particular time to do the work, then we have UFPE that can actually do some of the work also. So that's why there's two. At one point we started, we had three, but we found out the other company that we were using, they were doing so much work in the city that most of the plan reviews that were coming through, that we wouldn't be able to send it back to them because they were the ones who were submitting the work. So it's a checks and balances to make sure the people that are submitting the plans aren't the ones that are reviewing them.
And I take this is in a long run, and maybe Councillor Rudd may have better idea on this, since he's better on numbers. I guess spending $80,000 a year to contract these out is better than bringing in somebody that would be a full-time, right?
Yes, full-time plan examiner that we brought in, their salary is roughly $60,000, and when you throw on the benefits and all the other items that they have, I think right now this is a good plan we have. These particular jobs aren't easy jobs to recruit people. We spent years trying to find qualified people that wanted to come to Syracuse and had the actual qualifications to read these plans. Some of these plans are very complicated. We had some people that applied for these jobs, but they didn't have the expertise or the background to actually come and actually do some of the work. So we recruited heavily. One of the plan reviewers that we actually have working for us now, I actually found him on his LinkedIn page, and we sent him an email and we started communicating that way. But we were posting on all the public employment mechanisms to try to recruit people. We had people in the community asking if they knew anybody to be a plan reviewer. So these particular positions are very, very difficult to hire for. So keeping these third-party plan reviews, I believe, is something that we should always probably keep in our back pocket as a city, because like I said, if one of our plan reviewers gets sick, that's just one person that's not doing the work, and now we have an avenue to send work to one of these other reviewers. And for the amount of money, I think it's worth it.
All right.
And I think the work, if you look at when I came in, like I said, in 2018 to where we're at now, I think the processes that we put in place have been able to maintain what we need to do with the central permit office and to do the work that we need to do. So I think it's working is the biggest point I would like to make. It's actually working for us right now, and for the whole city, and for the people that are coming with their plans to get reviewed.
Okay, Councillor Rudd, any other questions?
No.
I mean, I totally understand your reservations about our waivers, but I sincerely would love to sit down and go over them specifically. And
I don't want to go over them any more than we did. We did plenty.
Okay, but
the authorized, why are the CNS USPE, why isn't that a waiver? That's because it was competitively bid at some point.
No, I believe those were. I would have to go back, Councilor Rudd, but I believe we actually proactively reached out to a bunch of companies, and there were 3 of them that actually got back to us, or maybe 4. But after we talked about the different types of services that we needed, they were the only 2 or 3 that could actually do the service that we needed to have provided, and that's how we were left with them.
Right, I just don't understand why that one is just authorized contract with, but then all the rest are waived.
I will make a note and get some information on the background of how all that developed, and I will get back to you on that question, Councilor Rudd.
Chief Mon, we want to thank you. Thank you for your time today. I guess that will be it. Let's move on to the police. I understand that there's nothing from the police today. Right, Chief Cecil?
No, there was, I'm sorry, Counselor, there was something thrown on. I was given the baton last night. Janet had a conflict, Janet Burke, but there is a request to apply and enter into an agreement with the U.S. Justice Department. I can go over, that was thrown on, onto the list.
Okay, you want to go over it then?
Yeah, you bet. It's a request to enter into an agreement with the Justice Department, U.S. Justice Department, for a grant of $275,000. There is no local match. What that money is going to allow us to do is buy, I can go to the details of it, would be about $9,600 would be used for a fit test machine for our gas masks. The officers that have gas masks, and we're going to outfit every officer, it needs to be fitted to their face first time we get it, and then it has to be checked every year with this fit test machine. Then there's also going to be about $1,300 worth of gas filters that go for the gas masks. But the bulk of the money, $251,000 or so, is going to be for overtime costs to reimburse the city. We were drafted into a bunch of different things that we couldn't do on straight time, delivering quarantine letters for the health department, traffic control at the testing sites, security at the food distribution sites, and a few other things that we did on overtime. And this funding, this grant would allow them, allow us to reimburse the city for that overtime costs.
Was this for just for the year?
Yes.
Councilor Rudd?
It's fine with me. I would make one suggestion, Councilman Majuk, that in the future, if we have like 12 items from one department and one from the other, maybe we let the one go first, so be sensitive of like Chief Cecil's time. Feel bad for him.
Usually that's how we did it, Councilor Rudd. But I came into the meeting with understanding that there was nothing from the police department.
Fair enough.
So, and Chief Cecil just said that it was something that was sent later, and maybe they sent it to me. I didn't check my email this afternoon, but
No problem.
I appreciate that, Councilor Rudd. I actually always enjoy Chief Mons talking anyway, so.
Yeah.
I know everybody tells me to shut up, so I try to shut up. I just want to try to get everything explained.
Actually, this is the first time I ever seen your list very long, and usually we let you go first, Chief Mon.
Yep. Usually the police have the laundry list.
Yeah. All right. Anything else, Chief Cecil?
Nope, that's all, Councilor.
All right, Councilor Rudd? You all set?
I'm all set.
All right, we'll move this item to the list. That will be it. Thank you. Have a good day. Have a good night. Whichever.
Thank you. You too.
All right, see ya.
Counselor, who are the other two on this committee? It's me, you, Karn.
And Latoya and Joe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Joe Driscoll.
Driscoll, yes.
All right.
Joe Driscoll.
Cool.
All right.
See you at the next meeting.
See ya.